4 in 10 people believe in ghosts. Over a third of people believe intelligent life exists outside of Earth. 43% of people believe demons exist. There are unexplained phenomena happening daily around the globe, and we are here to talk about it. Your portal into UFOs, paranormal, cryptids, the supernatural, the mysterious, the unknown. I see you. This is Beyond the Radar, and this is your host, Humanoid Tom Conway.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Beyond the Radar, your paranormal news program, coming live from Westchester, Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia. Thank you so much for tuning in to wherever you're listening from. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Rumble. You can find us all there, as well as the Oracle Talk Radio Network app, which the station is up and running again. I forgot to mention that to you guys before off air, but we're good with that again.
Awesome.
And then for an archive of past shows, please join us on Spreaker or Patreon for unheard of and bonus content as well. And a special shout out to Nationwide Paranormal, who invited us into their group to share our podcast, every podcast we have, into their group. Wonderful people over there. Aaron Wing is his name. And thank you so much for Nationwide Paranormal. Please continue to support, check in the comments, all that kind of good stuff. We love to hear from everybody as well. So, we have a fun episode today. We have an episode that kind of came to me, last minute, so it's half-assed, and that's the way all of everything I do is going to be. So just so everybody knows, where I'm coming from. We got the Nerd Informer boys here with us. Ian, Tyler, how are you doing? Thank you for joining me today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So we're going to step into the world of the paranormal and hit it as a whole collective group this today. We're going to have our paranormal State of the Union, where we talk about everything and anything and give our feedback. I have some extra cool stories, reports.
Awesome.
We have a whole lot to get into. I have a little clip of video here that I'm going to play, giving a little rundown of what it's going to be. So I'm going to do this now, and then we'll get into it because we have a lot to talk about. So let me play this.
Sweet. Welcome, paranormal enthusiasts, to the very first Paranormal State of the Union from Beyond the Radar. Tonight, we're embarking on an extraordinary journey through the mysterious and unexplained. In this special episode, we'll delve into a comprehensive review of some of the most intriguing paranormal topics of the past year: UFOs, ghosts, cryptids, metaphysical phenomena, and the supernatural. We'll take a close look at what transpired, share our personal experiences, and discuss where we stand with these enigmatic subjects today. But that's not all. We want to hear from you, our loyal listeners. Your questions and comments are an essential part of this journey, and we welcome your insights as we explore the unknown together. So, sit back, relax, and let's venture beyond the radar into the world of the paranormal.
Lovely, fun stuff. There we go. We have, to get everything kicked off, to have everyone situated and ready. At first, let me ask you both, while I do some share outs to our wonderful groups. I'll start with Tyler here. Tyler, how do you feel overall of the year 2024? A lot of crazy stuff happened, right?
Yeah, with conspiracies, UFOs. I mean, UFOs are a big one, and the drones going over Philadelphia, Virginia. I mean, and then what I've heard recently is that the FAA approved those drones, but I don't know if that's actually true, unless they're using that as a cover-up. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, it's endless with 2024.
Absolutely.
Drones are a big one.
Well, the paranormal side of it, I think the paranormal, when you're talking about like paranormal investigations and stuff like that, until tech kind of catches up and gets a little bit more advanced, you're kind of, I don't want to say at a standstill, but you're kind of at a standstill. So
I don't want to say, but I'm going to say.
Yeah, it's all about finding different places to investigate. It's all about finding different people to investigate with. You know what I mean? It's about building a community, I think, at this point. And once tech catches up and we get some better, more advanced tech and stuff like that, I think that's what it's going to be about.
Do both of you think that this is a money issue, that not enough money is being used to research the tech, or do you think it's simply just it ain't here yet?
I think
a little bit of
yet.
both.
Yeah, I mean, I think
well,
we've when you talk about the stuff that they have now, the EMF readers and the REM pods and stuff like that, it's kind of is what it is. They make new ones every year, but I don't think they're getting.
They're not updating the tech on it.
I don't know if they're getting more advanced. They're just getting new ones.
Or can they advance it? Or you know what I mean? Because if they're making them, you think they want the best possible, like EMF reader or any gadget they're using. So even with the right amount of money, can they even get to that point?
One of the things that I have noticed is that there's seem to be a younger crowd kind of joining in, and they seem to be getting a little bit younger, and that might actually, in the long run, benefit them because these are tech people. You know what I mean? Like,
growing up with tech.
Yeah, they're a little more tech, and now you got AI and all this other stuff. So, AI is a blessing and a curse when you're talking about paranormal investigations because it can greatly help you, but it also makes proving your case a lot harder because you can fake almost anything.
Well, the thing is, there are some really good AI videos out there where it's really hard to determine if it's fake or true. So, like, what if we're going to get into that realm where it's like you can't even decide anymore? You're just like, you know what I mean? You're in between. Someone that was believing it is now in between because of you can't even decide if it's AI. That's what's I think it's going to suck.
Deep fakes, man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like deep fakes. I mean, they're out everywhere now.
Yeah,
but I think that's also
they're very noticeable. But like some of them, you're like, oh man, that's like tough. Like you can't distinguish it, to be honest.
Yep.
But
hear you, Aaron. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Hopefully you caught the shout out for Nationwide Paranormal. And William Nighthawk. Wow. Hopefully that's your last name, man. That's a hell of a last name.
That'd be awesome.
Isn't that military testing and autonomous AI drones and helicopters master Northrop Grumman. So that's definitely something that we'll be getting into here. Right now, right? Yeah. Yep, it's all fake until you either see it yourself or prove it. And unfortunately, I was that way, man. Until I went out with paranormal, or in the I think I had more believability with UFOs because I had an experience with that. We've just simple numbers of how much you research, how much we've actually covered on the earth. You have to believe something else is out there because we haven't really found, or we haven't covered the whole earth yet, so you have to believe in that. Paranormal, if you just think of base numbers, like, man, people die every day. If there really are spirits, why do some get to stay and some, what I mean? So until I actually saw that, until I actually had EVPs that I can't explain, seen objects move, been around the K2s going off, and the half body apparition that I told you about, until you had those, and even then, I'll be very honest with you boys, even then now I'm like, could it have been something else? Like I'm past that.
Yep.
It's natural.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So, where do we want to start, guys? UFOs, ghosts, supernatural, metaphysical, or cryptids?
Dealer's choice.
Yeah,
let's do it.
All right. We talked about ghosts. Let's just. All right, guys. I took there really isn't a way to measure how many ghost stories.
You're always so professional with the video clips and stuff.
Well,
our show's such half-ass compared to.
Oh yeah, no.
We just wing it so much.
I like winging it though. It's organic.
Yeah, winging it's fun, and I just I don't know.
I do like the clips. I do.
So yeah, there's no real way to tell how many stories, are ghost stories or verified or anything like that. But one thing we can do is there's actually a spooky report that comes out every year.
Oh.
And it goes over the spookiest places and cities, and has a variable score, right? It has a score like how many sightings are there, scary history, that sort of thing. So, do you guys want to guess?
I do.
Top 3.
I do.
Okay.
Oh, as in state or city?
We're going to go states now. There's other ones on here, but we'll just do states.
I have to say probably number 1 has to be Tennessee.
No.
I say it's going to be in the Northeast. No, really?
This might be, let me put it this way. The top 2 might be volume based.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
probably California or Texas.
That's 1.
Yeah.
And that's 2.
Okay.
Surprise here is number 3. So now you can, put your hats on for this one.
This are we moving into the Northeast
not volume based.
Okay.
It's
not volume based?
No, no, their state's way bigger than ours. I just gave it away.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
just
gave it away. Pennsylvania's number 3.
I can see that.
You're not good at this game.
No, this is tough. You guys made the top 10 though. You want to guess where?
8.
Close.
It's probably 7.
I'd say 7 or 6 or 7.
9.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, Tyler, Illinois was 7.
Even with like St. Augustine and stuff. St. Augustine's like a hot spot
and Miami, dude. Miami's another hot one.
Yeah. So this uses ghost sighting ranks and haunted places ranks to come up with a score to give you the creepiest ones.
Okay.
So California being number 1, you have the Winchester Mystery House. That's going to be a big draw.
I love that
Mary in Long Beach. That's going to be another big draw.
Yeah.
Texas has, they said the Alamo and the Excelsior House in East Texas.
Okay.
And then
my daughter lives in just a quick little side note. My daughter lives in San Antonio and I visit often. And that's where I've done most of my ghost hunts. We're actually right next to the Alamo. And the Emily Morgan Hotel.
Yep.
Which is, it's literally, you look out the window and you're on top of the Alamo. So, and that was the one place where I had my, I guess you could call it a paranormal event, when I had like some of the little cat balls light up.
Oh yeah.
And
that freaked me out, man. I wouldn't be able to go to bed at that point in the same room.
Dude, I thought about it afterwards, and I'm like, we had 3 or 4 of them set out throughout the room. And we tried different things to get them to go off or whatever. And I mean, almost on cue, one of them would go off. Like when you started talking about it or asking it to do something, almost on cue, man. It was creepy. I'll admit it was creepy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the stuff that gets me too, because I know when I've asked questions and they've, directly, responded, I'm changing my gaps in my words. Okay. I'm asking at different times.
Okay.
I'm not doing anything because that's the only thing I can control is let me just not ask it the same way, be repetitive. Yeah. Maybe it's just going off every whatever second. And once you have it like wait for you to be done and then answer you, then it's like, oh, okay,
that's creepy.
That's creepy.
That changes the way you look at it.
Absolutely. So that we got into a little bit of the states. The cities is by far and away, I don't know if this seems like an upset to me, but Estes Park, Colorado.
Oh, Minor Town, maybe?
Minor Town. I think it actually is where the Shining Hotel is.
Okay.
The Shining Hotel, isn't it not in Oregon? I thought it was.
No, I thought it was Colorado, but
I think it's Oregon.
Totally wrong.
Mining towns, man, they got some crazy stuff happening there.
Well,
they do, but all of this has to be reported. I don't think there's enough people around. You know what I mean? To see it to report it. Where these are I guess biased because it has to be in your populated areas.
Yeah, I've been to that hotel when I was younger. I went to the hotel where they shot The Shining. It's Stanley Hotel, and it's in Oregon.
Oregon. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not in Estes Park. But one fun fact about Estes Park is it jumped from 10 to 1. So something happened
Whoa.
there to move
Oh
it
yeah.
in 2023 at 10 to 2024 at 1.
I think whoever made that list had their own personal experience there.
they might have.
Yeah.
That'll move it to number 1 when you see something crazy and you're making a list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Number 2 is probably not a surprise, Gettysburg.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
3, Stowe, Vermont. 4, Weston, West Virginia. 5 is not San Antonio, Texas. It's not the most haunted one in Texas. It's actually Austin, Texas, which is higher than San Antonio, which is number 7.
Oh wow.
Yeah. 6 is LA, which there's a lot of hauntings in Hollywood. I do know, that's a really haunted place.
Yeah.
And the third on the top 10 from Texas is Houston, which I haven't heard Houston be real big as a hotspot, but apparently it is. 9 is, you guys said the aforementioned St. Augustine, Florida is number 9. Spookiest
There's a lot over there, so I'm surprised it's not. Yeah.
Everything's haunted in St. Augustine.
Yeah,
you go there. It's wild when you go there.
The whole town itself has a feeling. You know what I mean? When
you're right.
It's very eerie when you go there, especially at night.
I mean, you see stuff outside. Like if you go out for a walk, there's a couple cemeteries, and I have a picture. My daughter has a picture of 2 green, like blobs that were in a cemetery, and they weren't in any other pictures. It was pretty wild. I don't know if she still has it or not, but I tried to get it.
I hope so. I want to see it.
It's pretty wild. And the funny thing is that I saw a lady on Facebook post the exact same cemetery, and the 2 blobs were there, but in a different spot. And they were the exact same blobs that we saw.
That's so cool.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Number 10, I wouldn't have guessed this if you gave me 1,000 guesses. Honolulu, Hawaii. I would not have expected that.
That's
you never hear about.
How is it new? It's not even new. How do you not have Boston? How do you not have
that's what the lack of Northeast is surprising to me, because there's so many, all the ghost shows and stuff that you watch. It's all everything to the Northeast almost.
It's true. Stowe,
if you think about it, that's some of the oldest territory. In this
in the United States.
Yeah,
you would think it would be.
That was populated heavily.
People tortured and multiple things, but
that's true.
It's that time of day.
If you want to go to spiritual shops, so actually people making money through an economy based on the paranormal.
Louisiana.
No, keep it in the same group. Estes Park remains number 1. Gettysburg, they do a ton of tours, so
for
sure that's up there. But St. Augustine jumps up to number 4.
I was going to say that's got to be way up. Everything is ghost tour up there.
Yeah. Have you ever gone there, Tom, or no? St. Augustine?
St. Augustine? No, I have not.
You have to take a trip one time.
And
it's a cool place
when I was there, which sucks.
It's crazy. Before you get over the bridge, it looks like you're going up to like a fort with cannons. You see it's like legit too.
I mean,
you can get on the old boats that are all still made out of wood that look like legit ships. There's so much to do there. So if you spend a weekend there or a couple days, you'd love it.
There's
a lot to do. A lot of ghost tours.
Absolutely with that. I love that stuff. Top 5 destinations for spooky travel. This was this past year, so this isn't all time. Was actually Chicago, Tyler, number 1. Yeah.
Did they say why or where? Oh, what? Or no?
No.
I wonder if it was like the suburbs of Chicago. No,
yeah, I want to see. I don't know how much they're encapsulating with
that's kind of cool.
Oh no, downtown's pretty spooky.
Yeah. Go down the wrong alley, trust me.
Yeah.
Pretty spooky.
You're gonna hate
your
life.
I would think number 2 would have been number 1, Nolans.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I would have thought that would have been number 1.
I would think so too, over Chicago.
Yeah.
Everything in New Orleans is based around voodoo and paranormal, and I mean it's
werewolf too area. Cryptid.
My cousin
heavy.
My cousin Jacqueline, she lived there, and she actually works for a shop, and she does tarot card readings. And I wish she still lived there. She moved to North Carolina, I think 2 months ago. But
Yeah,
That's all
stuff's
she used to work
heavy there.
in a voodoo shop. That's kind of cool.
Love that. And finally, percentage. This was a random poll of 10,000 people, so it wasn't. They actually did a fair amount. 50 of what Americans believe in. 56% spirits, ghosts. 46% UFOs, aliens. 39% demons. 38% psychic abilities. 34% for witchcraft. That seemed high to me, but
That seems a little high.
25% for poltergeist, and there are 4% of us out there that believe in zombies.
Okay, it's gone way down then.
I wonder what those numbers do over a 40 or 50-year span. I wonder if they're actually increasing.
Yeah.
I guarantee you
Or
that's increasing. As
UFO are for sure is increasing.
Oh yeah.
Paranormal's probably increasing.
Yeah, I'm surprised paranormal wasn't like with demons. Demons, it's its own. You know what I mean?
The zombie thing might be after The Walking Dead.
I think
that
I think
jumped up.
zombies really was from Walking Dead, and the thing is, it makes people think. Well, also we had the Miami zombie where that guy was eating some
He
guy's
ate
face.
Yeah, that was wild.
So, and that didn't happen just there.
All
This
right.
was it Las Vegas? The guy was eating a leg.
Yeah, there was people.
You saw
just
this,
eating
right?
People. Yeah,
Yeah, like
wow.
bath salts are crazy.
Can't afford eggs.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Nobody can right now.
Straight protein.
So
God.
fun fact with Vegas, and I was in Las Vegas when that Miami thing happened.
Okay.
And this was a young, 22, 23 Vegas trip where you and three buddies are crammed in a hotel room. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And
Yeah.
you're just gambling and drinking, right?
Right.
So by the time that story hit, we were hungover, so it's probably like noon or 1, and we're still in the room, like waking up, right? Or trying to get ready to go out and do it again. We hear about this story. All of us get on our phones. We start looking at this crazy stuff, and there is in Vegas a zombie apocalypse store. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. It's been around there.
Fill out.
We got we all got up, we all had in the shower, we got down to the taxi stand because this is pre-Uber, and went to the zombie apocalypse store. And we were kids in a candy store. You could print up fake like newspaper headlines of zombies attack.
Yep.
There's people who take this as a literal serious club.
Yeah.
There's professional publications. There's different weapons you can buy. And around back, they had a little like a shooting range of paintball. I guess they couldn't use real guns, but paintball with zombies that come out from the side or run across and things like that. But it was really, really fun, and it was busy that day. So I'm sure other people have heard about what's going on.
Oh yeah,
Vegas has got some fun stuff, man.
Oh, I know. You can make Vegas whatever you want.
Absolutely.
And I want to put this preference out for everybody where people think only the drinking and the gambling and things like that. And while it's not a family destination, if that's not your thing, you can go out there, and Area 15 is a place for us. They have a lot of UFO stuff, a lot of real history stuff. You know what I mean? Of what happened out in the bomb testing of the deserts. You can go for the cheap. You can see a bunch of cool stuff. And you can save the partying for the nighttime. You know what I mean? You don't have to 24/7.
That's what I was telling Tyler. We've been talking about going out, but Tyler don't gamble at all. So I'm like, dude, there's so much more to do there than just like
Tyler, my wife was the same way.
Yeah. I don't mind gambling, but like when I go out, I'll probably bring like $300 just to gamble. If I lose 300, I'll be mad. But he was talking about like the Hoover Dam. They have that entire like route you take. I forgot what it was called in the
You go out to the Hoover Dam. You continue on out to the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, and then there was a specific route. We went on VR, and we actually traveled the whole route. And I forgot what we were playing. What game?
They actually do a lot of paranormal investigations in Lake Mead, like the tunnels around Lake Mead. The tunnels, they do a ton of paranormal stuff around there.
They did that on the Ghost Adventures,
Eventbrite or Meetup, but they have groups to go out and see the lights. The desert lights, and you can go ahead and
it's free.
They get a whole paranormal one. You can rent the Army night vision goggles and look up UFO watch. You can get any type of food you want. You know what I mean? There's places everywhere. You don't have to go to get like a $15 burger or something. There's a Denny's. I love
Absolutely.
it on the strip.
Oh yeah.
Vegas is dope, man. I love Vegas.
I love it too. Pawn Stars, you have to check that off the list. Just
Oh
to
yeah,
be
yeah,
able to
for
walk
sure.
into
I
there.
totally would.
Yeah,
Yep, for sure.
but a lot of cool stuff to go out and just hang out. Street performers, you could get lost for 2 hours just watching people do stuff on the street.
Yep.
Really,
And it's like really good too, I imagine, because they practice it so much.
Some of the stuff, and some of the stuff you're just
some of them are just they'll be asses, but I saw a guy with an easel and spray paint make like a foreign planet just in like
dude. Those guys are so good, man. They do it in New York City a lot. When I go
talking about.
I've seen it in DC. I saw it in DC.
I bought I bought one for my daughter and myself when we were in New York visiting. This dude was bad, bro. This
like,
dude
what's he do with the
badass.
newspaper? He's making a planet while he's
I mean, and the shit he uses to like make the design and shapes and stuff. You're like, what are you using that for? And I mean, it's dope. Some of the stuff they do is dope.
Yeah. No, it's so true because like it doesn't look like what it's going to be until maybe the last minute or two.
Yep.
So paranormal, that's what happened in the past year. Where are you guys at? Are you, you have to wait and see to believe it? Do you believe it? Where are you at?
It's like I don't want to believe it because I'd be more nervous when it would happen around me, but I still believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's been too much evidence to not think about it's real. You know what I mean?
For me, I know 2025, I want to actually do some traveling and do more.
Same here.
I want to actually get into some investigations.
Well, it would be my first and yours too. Investigation.
I want to hook up with some people that do investigations, and I want to really go and like in a real way do some investigations and see.
Get out of my comfort zone.
What's what? Yeah.
Yeah. That's we were talking about with you, Tom. That like you guys have groups up there that do that. So if we can make it up there one day, and I mean at least around people that we're familiar with,
yeah,
I think it'd be a fun time.
That way, if we all die, we're all together.
Oh, fucked.
It's not fault.
Well, I was going to say we'll spontaneously combust, but that's actually a part of.
The only one that we trust is Tom, and he becomes.
I get possessed. You don't know it yet. And I'm leading you out.
I'm just thinking.
I'm leading you out into an airfield in Northeast Philly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I just lost my whole town. Oh my god. But let's go with the supernatural. I have some fun stuff for you. Yeah, supernatural phenomenon. So I broke this up from metaphysical stuff because I wanted to keep the metaphysical, psychics, mediums. You know what I mean? And I wanted to take some of these things separately. So one of them actually is spontaneous human combustion. Have you guys, one, you know what it is, and two, what are your feelings on that?
As in, I've seen spontaneous combustion with a person?
With a person, yeah. Where they
okay. So this has happened before.
It has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been no official cause of death in the United States saying that. However, other countries there have been.
Okay.
My problem with stuff that comes from other countries, well, listen, our government sucks too, but some of the stuff that comes from other countries, you're like, I don't know what kind of technology they got where they're making these calls. But I've seen a lot of stuff about spontaneous combustion, and I don't know if there's a scientific explanation for it, but I believe these people caught on fire and burned up. Like, it's pretty obvious.
Is it? Yeah, I don't know.
It's supposed to, the working theory is a chemical imbalance where it touches and doesn't need, there's obviously elements that when you put them together, they go up. Oxygen with a lot of things,
But a lot of things go into that, like, where you're at, like your environment, were you somewhere were you in a locked room with a bunch of cans of gasoline and you get static electricity or something? You know what I mean? Like a lot of things go into that.
There are. Some people could think, what if somebody got really drunk and had a cigarette and, but there to make it that's what makes this still an ongoing thing and not ruled out officially,
Okay.
is because only certain times can humans burn to ashes. And I have the list right here. Several things must occur for the human body to burn to ashes. And this is from the National Institute of Health.
Okay.
If anybody wants to read that there, by all means. Notes that burn victims have to die for the body fat to begin melting, and a tear in the skin must occur for the melted fat to soak the burned clothes, igniting an effect to produces heat for a lengthy, extended period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it would take for the human body to burn to ashes. In spontaneous human combustion, those or suspected cases, all of those criteria have been met. The body burned from ashes in
Like
the
even
center
the
of the
bone?
body with the the limbs and stuff
Yeah,
still
yeah.
relatively okay.
And you have to have a continuing heat source to, like, it's got to be,
Well, you have oxygen and
like,
wind.
if you're being cremated,
That's
you know what I mean? Just for instance, like, they're constantly applying heat to you
high
and fire.
heat.
You know what I mean? Like, you
To
have
get rid
to
of
be.
bone is even harder.
I don't know. You'll just catch on fire and get hotter and hotter and burn to ash. Like, there has to be some sort of outside influence, I would think.
Yes, yeah, and the if you've seen pictures, and there's pictures out on the internet, I don't have any right now, but it looks like it all starts gut,
Digestive. Yeah.
chest, right around this area, and there's relatively no burns on the hands and the forearms or the legs, the shins, and the feet,
Just
or the
burning
head.
thin. Yeah.
Now, you could say, yeah, that's and by all means, you're not going to find an argument with me, but that's easily replicable because you can just have a really high burning fire, heat, thermite, something like that, drag a dead body over top and the middle of them, and you'll have that because the body's not going to, catch, you know what I mean, and burn up like to the limbs. But a lot of, you would have to have access to a lot of things, and this person who has to be doing it must be all over the world, going.
Did they ever say if, like, in any other cases, if they ate something that, or just anything that they could have burped up, or anything like that would cause a reaction of, you never know what they ate, but why they're burning from the inside out? Is there any
I don't think they've gotten into that far.
Well, I guess
The
you guys
latest
kind
story,
of can't, because they're, they destroyed all the evidence.
well, yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, everything that would be in there. Like if it started at your head, you could check. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But if
exactly.
we're in the middle. But the latest case of this to be officially called this was Ireland in 2010.
Wow.
A lot of these stories involve really old people, and I'm like post 75 old.
Oh, okay.
He was a 76-year-old man, and I'm sorry, it was a person. It was a woman, and their body was found in their living room with the woman's body. That the room was untouched, but the ceiling above her showed signs of extreme heat. That's odd in a whole other way, because if you're everything in your home is going to catch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Real odd.
Little did they not tell us, she drank an entire bottle of Bacardi 151 with a heated blanket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just joking.
It was a drunk party trick. She was drinking 151 and it's like, I can swallow a flaming sword.
Yeah.
But I wonder
anymore.
I wonder if it's something that starts from within you, or is it something that is external and it just burns you in that area? Like, is it something inside your gut that catches on? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what feeds?
Maybe she lit
what's starting and feeds, lit
a cigarette. I'm guessing.
No, I mean, we're coming up with like significant discoveries every year. Maybe a few bacteria along with chemicals in the proper proportion, where it's, I mean, rare is an understatement. Because like I said, you didn't even have anything that could have been it since 2010, and even before then, there's only about 6 or 7. But there's people being born every day. You're having these simulations go on. Maybe a few of them do happen where the conditions meet just right.
I mean, with all the people in the world and all the opportunity, I can see that it, the conditions get just right at some point every once in a while. You know,
and that's where I'm at. To bring it in. That's where I'm at with this. Is I really don't have any evidence to say it can't happen.
Yeah. Well, because we don't understand enough about it, too.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? To
Where
even
we
make
fall into
a
that paranormal realm or the
yeah.
ghosts and the spirits, where could it happen a lot more often, and we're just blissfully unaware because we don't know how to track it.
Yeah, I mean, there's house fires and stuff all the time where people die. Maybe that's one of those started from something spontaneous.
Every single one of them. We just don't know.
Yeah, we just don't have enough evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So also in this realm, I put miracles. Do you guys, and these are church approved miracles. So we can call a lot of things miracles.
Okay.
But there was none this past year. But we're going to go back just in the last, 19 years. There's been 4 church confirmed miracles. I've never heard of any of these, but apparently these are ones affirmed by the church. One in Poland in 2013, one in India in 2001. I didn't read that one. 2006 in Mexico, and then Poland again in 2008.
So are there backstories with them?
Yeah, here's a little blurb from each one. On Christmas Day 2013 at the Church of Saint Hyacinth in Poland, a consecrated host fell on the floor, body, all that. The host was put into a container with water so that it would dissolve. Instead, red stains formed. In February of 2014, so I guess 2 months later, the host was examined by various research institutes, including the Department of Forensic Medicine, which is, I guess that's their national department. So in a histopathological image, I don't know what that is, but in an image that they took of it, the fragments were found to contain fragmented parts of the cross muscle, which is most similar to the heart muscle. So they found images when they put this thing under a scope. Additionally, similar to that, in Italy, research had found that tissues had alterations that would appear during great distress on their hosts. The bleeding host of Poland was approved for veneration in April 2016 of the Vatican and has all the hallmarks of a Eucharistic miracle. Mexico was also a Eucharistic miracle. 2006, a parish in a diocese in Mexico held a retreat. During the Mass, 2 priests and a religious sister were distributing communion. When the religious sister looked at the celebrant with tears in her eyes, the host that she had begun to effuse suddenly had a reddish substance. Same thing. They looked under, they found AB blood type, which it's supposed to be the body of Christ. So this wafer actually had some human DNA and blood type on it.
Wow.
Yeah. So that one was 2006. These are all Eucharistic miracles, actually. India 2001, same thing, had a figure of a man, and also blood was found on the host. And Poland again, different area, St. Anthony's Hospital, also was a drop of blood, not as much as the other ones, but it was certainly tested and confirmed to be blood.
I'd have to run a DNA test.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know what I mean? I would have to. They probably did at that point, but didn't say anything.
The miracle thing, I don't know. I think a lot of confirmation bias kind of comes into when you're looking at miracles and stuff like that. Like you're looking for certain things.
Yeah.
So miracles are a little tougher for me because there's almost always an answer, and maybe just because you don't know what the answer is, that don't mean you know what I'm saying. It doesn't mean that. So it's I don't. It's harder for me to swallow the miracle part.
I totally agree because the thing that's calling it a miracle is also confirming it's a miracle.
Correct.
Yeah,
and you have to watch out for that in any walk of life, not just in this. Okay, so
the religious community.
We did. There goes the Vatican.
Guess we're not getting invited there. Way to go, guys!
I've always wanted to go there.
In 2024, and this is the last one out of the supernatural phenomenon, is NDEs or near-death experiences.
Okay.
There was a gentleman who, younger, he was brain dead, saw his father. His father told him to come with him. He felt enormous love, immense love, all of that kind of stuff, and then he was brought back. In a study in 2024 of 344 people who have survived cardiac arrest, your heart's stopped, right?
Yeah.
18% had memories of meeting dead loved ones, being ushered through a tunnel of light, or existing outside of their bodies. A neurobiologist, very smart person, had one and said, I lost everything. I lost my body, the world, the ego. It was just a bright light and ecstasy, she said. And
I can see that.
and then a friend of this gentleman also suffered cardiac arrest. Remembers running through a field of beautiful flowers and rushing towards two long dead friends that she hadn't thought about in years. She was filled with love and joy, and just before she was yanked back into her body. So, NDEs, how do we feel about that?
Well, I feel like the brain knows what's happening. Not saying, they might
Oh,
not
yeah.
know, but they're going to give you false memories. They're going to give you things that you would want to see and experience when you're about to go to the other side. So I think that's what they're witnessing and feeling, and then they come back. But I mean, I'm not saying it's not true what happens. I would like to think that's what happens. But I think that's what's happening is you're getting false memories, or you're getting things that didn't really happen. But there are some crazy ones that I've heard out of body experiences where it's like it's hard not to believe what that person's saying at the same time.
Well, they've done research where they would have people that are, in serious situations that then they could possibly die and maybe be recouped from, but they would have a shelf over you in the hospital room, and they would write a word on a piece of paper, and they would set it on a shelf, and then Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about it, and you have to be aware enough to know that you're having an out of body experience, but they want you to see what that word is, and if you come back and you tell me that word, then we believe in out of body experiences. Near death experience, I want to believe in that stuff, but I think the chemical makeup of your brain is such a unknown. Like, we just don't know enough about the brain, I think, and we know a lot about the brain, but
hell yeah, Dustin, put us up on that 80-inch.
Dustin, what's going on?
Dustin's a man.
I'm an 80-inch, dude.
But I just feel like there's too many, like Tyler said, a chemical reaction, some sort of memories that were,
it's giving you a euphoria of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a warm and fuzzy feeling. It's a warm and fuzzy story, and
where
you hope
it's more
that it's
accepting
true,
when you do leave that you feel okay that you're dying. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's one of those things where we'll never know here
until you
right.
Like, but if that makes people feel better and they need to protect their journey, you know what I mean, into an afterlife.
100%. Yeah.
Why can't it be both? Why can't it be a beautiful story and still?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Listen, anything that gives you comfort. I feel this way about
especially
religion.
Dying. That's the most traumatic thing anybody can do here.
Exactly. Everyone has their own experience on that.
Like, I'm not a particularly religious person, but I don't, and a lot of people, they have their doubts about religion and problems with it. But if it makes you a better person and it makes you happy and it makes you, be a better person, then I'm all for it. Go, have at it.
Why is that a bad thing?
Yeah, and it's kind of the same way I think about this. Like, if it gives you comfort in thinking that there's an afterlife and you're gonna, and you have these experiences and stuff, more power to you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree on that one.
All right,
and I hope it's true because
I want to go out is give me
when I die, I want to go
before I go.
Yeah. Well,
it's crazy things.
There could, the brain does release DMT where
where
the hell does that come from? That could be a miracle. You know what I mean? If you don't produce something and now it's in you, where'd it come from? You know what I mean? So who really knows? Let's do cryptids next. All right, cryptids. Now, this is just coming off the heels of us three being together and doing at the end of 2024. 12 Cryptids of Christmas, which really opened my eyes on a lot of different stories that people have and some of the underrated ones.
Mm-hmm.
I more kept this to the bigger mainframe guys, Bigfoot
The big
and
one,
things
sure.
like that.
Mothman.
Mhm.
And I didn't know, that, in learning about this, I'm talking only class A, like, oh, it was behind it. No, it was out in the open. And I saw, what this
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
I went to the BFRO's website and they had over 230 reports. Now it's a smaller website. People, I'm sure there's way more sightings than that, but we're talking about only documented ones.
Yeah.
I pulled one from not that long ago, just a couple months ago, October, at the end of October. And this one stuck out to me because this was followed up by Matt Moneymaker from, the Bigfoot show, that
Yeah.
on Animal Planet. So if they're sending him out there,
Like, story to it.
yeah, that has a nice story to it. So this was witnessed by multiple people, 4 people, not just one. Not
Okay.
just one.
All in the same group, or did they say, or
Same group.
okay?
Okay, so Sunday night, my brother, his wife, my girlfriend, and I had an encounter with Bigfoot. We seen him with our own eyes and actually tried to capture him on camera. I honestly didn't believe in Bigfoot. I always thought the videos on the internet were faked. I thought maybe he was a spirit, if anything. I'm Native American and also an Army veteran. What I seen was a huge black gorilla, but he also looked like a man. He was about 8 to 9 feet tall, and that's just my estimation. Black skin as well as the hair all over his body. But the thing was, it looked like it was clean. It was combed. It looked like he took care of himself. I've seen other videos and people talk about how horrible stink. I didn't smell anything. He was so big compared to my brother and I. One thing I noticed about him was his physique. This was in shape. You could see a slender midsection, a huge chest and arms. I've never really been scared of anything in my life. I've been to war in 2004 in Afghanistan. I've been in the mountains for years and years of my life, but never experienced anything at all until this day. What scared me the most was the size in his body. It was like we're not going to be able to do anything, even with weapons. He was just too big.
Oh yeah.
I was so close to him, I could see his face clear and his body and under the hair. He stepped out from behind a tree, looked at my brother and I, and put something in his mouth, maybe food. He then looked at us for a few seconds, turned around, and started walking away, not fast or anything. My brother's wife started yelling in the truck. She was sitting there with my girlfriend, and we started running back to the truck to make sure they were okay. We got to the truck, we got inside, and my brother started recording. We were just sitting there staring in the direction that we saw Bigfoot. I was in the back passenger driver's side. My brother's wife was in the driver's seat. Both had her windows down. My brother was recording him from the passenger seat. But he was sitting on the window rail recording over the top of the pickup. Both his wife and I seen something brown crawling towards us. She started screaming. I told her, go, go, go. We pulled out of there fast. We haven't posted anything on social media. We just don't want anyone to think we're faking anything. I've seen what I've seen. I still can't believe it. So mind-blowing. Now, here's the follow-up from Matt Moneymaker. I spoke with the 2 guys. Their names, Michael Eagleman and Lacey. Very credible Chippewa Cree tribal members. This is definitely a legit Class A encounter with 3 witnesses. Third was the driver, the wife of Michael. The man seen walking around is Lacey. They are Army veterans, served 11 months in Afghanistan, and a combat engineer. So he's vouching for him. Don't have the video. Maybe everyone can find it out there. But I thought it was pretty fascinating. This was the last Class A, however they grade it that way. So with cryptids, with all of that kind of stuff, where are you guys at with that in 2024, beginning 2025?
Makes me happy.
Yeah. I like
it seems like definitely a credible story.
Yeah.
Now, being that they're of Native American heritage, like that's very, very strong in the Native American culture.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But it's more like you said, kind of more of a spirit type thing to them. You know what I mean? It's not it may be a flesh and blood monster to them or whatever, but it's definitely more of a spiritual thing, I think. So
I like how he explained that it was.
Yeah,
He said it looked like it looks like a gorilla but taller.
I like how it was combed.
He didn't go straight to that's Bigfoot, and in searching for he's like, no, it looks like a gorilla but like a different stature it has. And, it's pretty cool. Like it didn't make it seem like that he was intentionally saying Bigfoot in a way. So he was questioning it at the same time he was explaining it.
Yeah, absolutely. Many reports of Native Americans and their run-ins with Bigfoot it's not even anything to them.
Yeah,
they just there. You know what I mean? It's just what
they're not trying to prove anything. They're just
you're right. You're exactly right.
There's no doubt. You know what I mean? To them, it's a real thing to them. There's no question. There's no maybe. To a lot of them, it's very real. For sure.
So I am, I'm not going to throw a blanket out there on all cryptids, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Bigfoot, I believe, is a interdimensional being. You know what I mean? Whether it's flesh and blood in our world, but I believe it comes in and out. For what reason? I don't know. You know what I mean? But if I could traverse dimensions, I would just go for a walk too. Just to see what's out there.
I looked at them and they just kept walking the other way. It's like,
well, we can't do it. What would we really do?
Nothing.
No.
Probably
I mean,
die.
And especially with them, they're so respectful of nature. There's no way they would even if they were scared, they wouldn't raise a weapon towards it.
No, exactly. Unless
we're around my area, yeah.
Just saying.
Oh, you come down to South Florida. We're shooting.
I don't want to say anything inappropriate.
Through the door without even opening it first.
Oh yeah, we don't even look. We just see what's dead outside.
My eyes are closing and just boom. You know what I mean?
We question nothing until the cops get there.
I've learned that living down here in Florida.
You shot without knowing?
Yeah, exactly. Eyes were closed. Yeah.
I think it's weird you didn't.
Yeah.
So where's my tax dollars going?
Yeah,
exactly.
But like Bigfoot, skinwalkers, stuff like that, it kind of goes to my theory of, and I've talked about it before, like the paranormal ghosts and stuff like that. Like our dimensions are so close together. There's just thin veils sometimes that they sneak through. And maybe it's on purpose, or maybe it's not. Maybe they don't even mean to do it. They're just out strolling around, and they're there. But that's kind of like my same kind of idea with my theory about ghosts.
Yeah,
I always like to
we're
think
looking through a veil.
Yeah,
but
the problem is, like, are we at the same time seeing them? They're seeing us, but they're seeing us in their time where they're at, and we're seeing. You know what I mean? I was looking at it that way.
With Ghost, I hope that I'm walking through their kitchen at midnight.
That's exactly what's happening. I think that's what it is, dude. Like,
I'm just in my underwear in their kitchen while they come out. And
you are at that point where you are seeing each other where we're scared. They might be scared, and we're in the same area at the same time.
That's very true.
I always think of it that way, where I think that's where it'd be more believable.
I think and that's why you have certain places that are more haunted than others.
Exactly, like more energy and more.
They're closer to each other. You know what I mean? They're the universes are just,
and that's
so
maybe
close.
Why some of them don't interact. Like, what if they're just looking at us because of they're like, holy shit, it's a ghost, but it's really just me saying, holy shit, that's a ghost. You know what I mean? It's one of those situations.
It very well.
I would love to believe it being that way.
Have you guys seen The Others?
Yeah.
Nicole Kidman.
Long time ago. That's
that's a great movie, and it could be like that where they just don't. You're watching that movie for the whole 90% of it.
Exactly.
Thinking
no spoilers at this point.
Thinking something's messing with them.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be them the entire time.
Exactly.
Who's to say that isn't how it goes?
Well, I think kind of the same way about dreams. Like when you have a dream, maybe you go somewhere. Maybe this crazy dream you're having is real, but in another dimension or universe or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Like it's really happening. You're just somehow when you're sleeping,
out of body experience is actually from our dream, but it's somewhere else. And
Yeah, or just you dream about riding a horse. Well, maybe one of your yous in another universe is riding a horse, and somehow your
yeah,
wires
I
get
can see that.
crossed, and you know what I mean.
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
If
That's
you
a
go
very
on,
interesting theory. I mean,
if you
we
go
don't
on
know
the
dreams at all.
right, well, that's just it. If you go on
Man,
the
the dreams I'm having, I feel bad for the other me.
Yeah.
You know what I
you
mean,
heard some of my dreams,
Yeah.
dog.
I'm just saying. That
Yeah.
demon on top of me when I had sleep paralysis was me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It was you,
It
just
found
not
me to kill me in that time.
One Tyler was laying on his back, and the
Exactly.
other Tyler was laying on his stomach,
Exactly.
and they got crossed where they were pitting each other down.
It's like a weird porno.
That's exactly it.
I can't. Well, the last time you asked him if you tipped the demon.
Well, I mean, I have questions.
I would have. No, I'm just saying.
That would be the most asinine question. You meet a demon, you're like, all right, I have a question for you. How does currency work? Like, do you have devil bucks? Like, what are we talking about?
No, we accept Apple Pay.
Yeah. We have Apple Pay.
Just tap to pay, and it's good.
That's exactly it.
I don't know. I was thinking about like a week ago about the dreams thing, and it makes sense to me. I don't know.
It makes
does.
the dreams absolutely can make sense because
have you ever had like
the astral plane?
dreams? Have you ever had dreams where you have the reoccurring dream a different night?
Yes, many times. A lot of my dreams I have more than
I'm the same.
I haven't. See, wait. You guys
have
had dreams
yeah
that you've had on multiple nights, like in a row, or just it might
not
be
necessarily.
The
No.
weird part is I'll have a dream, and then I'll go to bed, and I'll continue in that same dream, and it feels like it was taking place, and it
Like
was
picking
one
up where you left
story.
off?
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
I've had it happen multiple times.
I woke up
And-
and during a dream and fell back asleep to get back in the dream, and
I've done that exact thing
Mhm.
so many
Wow.
times where I'll go. I'm like, I got up. I'm like, dude, that dream was so weird. I'd
I gotta
go
look
right,
this
and
up. This
I
is blowing my
would
mind. I had no
literally get
idea.
up. I'd get up for like 10 minutes. I'd go back to bed. I'd go right back into the same exact dream.
Yep, I've done it.
Instantly.
I've also known that I was dreaming, and I'm like, oh shit,
Yeah.
this is a dream. Okay, so
I've done that, and
I haven't been able to control anything because I don't think I have that kind of
only
mind
been able
power.
to do
But
it once.
I've known that I've
There's
usually when I get scared in the dream.
try to do lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
The best way to trick your mind is like they always tell you, if you listen to certain tones from sounds, and
Toilet
then
flushing.
always
Mhm.
wake up, write in a journal, and then or wake up and hit your light switch multiple times. Do it over and over and over again, and then eventually, when you do it in your dream, something different will happen. And you'll realize.
Yeah. I've heard about
Because
that.
of like when I hit the lights on or off, instead of it going dark, it'll go red. You're
But
like,
you
what
got
the
to
hell
know
just
that you're in a
happened?
dream.
You'll
in order
know
for
it
that to
because if
work.
you've done it so many times, people
Yeah.
trick their brains to do that. They do it all the time. I've gone into like a deep dive on that one. On YouTube.
That show Evil that's on I think it's Paramount or
dude.
MGM. They talk about it.
Dude,
The
such a
girl
good
is
show.
able to like control that she her dreams or whatever. She knows that she's in a dream by doing.
And you can
certain
do
things.
it very easily if you continuously get good at it and just
Mhm.
continuously practice at it. You can do it.
Hmm.
Ian's never going to wake up. He's like, I love this dream.
Best dream ever.
Yeah.
I mean, how often would you choose to stay in a dream, though? I mean,
The
probably
problem-
90% of us out there, the dream world would be better
It's
than
the
what's
dream world
going
or the
on.
real world.
Usually
make
the only
it
time. Usually the only time I know that I'm in a dream is if I'm scared about something. If something's scaring me, and then I'm like, oh shit, okay, I'm in a dream.
True. You know, that's a good point because I'll
The good
wake
shit
up
I'm
and you'll
always,
have
I
that
always
fear
wake up during the
emotion
middle of.
still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You'll have that fear emotion still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't feel that in the daytime, or not daytime, but in the regular time. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
things can startle you. You can
Mhm.
jump. You know, whatever. But that it's a real fear, dread type thing.
Yeah.
That I don't
It-
feel in being
It
awake.
puts you, it puts you in the dream. Like you don't know the difference. You know what I mean? Like when something bad's happening in a dream or scary, like you're in a bad situation, whatever that situation is.
Yeah.
Mentally,
Yeah.
you're in that bad situation and you're scared. Like
Oh, yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
I've been,
and that's
bitten,
usually when,
I've been
and that's
shot,
usually when I can say it. Okay, I'm in a dream. Like because
well,
something just so crazy happens, and I'm like, oh, there's no way this is real.
Your dreams are really
when my
crazy,
father
though.
when
Some
my
of 'em
father
are.
passed, all of those dreams, would have him in it
Yeah.
or around it, like
Mhm.
at the house, or you know what I mean, things like that.
Yeah.
So, that could have been a way that my brain chose to process that kind of like
Mhm.
bad stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you
yeah.
think?
Rather than
Do you think in a way it was him trying to communicate with you in any way,
That's a good way
or
to
do you
think
think
about
it's just?
I mean, I don't really, simply because it wasn't profound. I've heard people,
Okay.
and I do believe a lot of people's stories where they tell me that they've had a dream of somebody, who has passed
Mhm.
on, and they told them X. And you know what I mean? Whether it came true or not, I don't know. But I do believe people that have had those dreams. But you know what? They can tell you everything about that dream. They can tell you what it did, what he said, what she
Mhm.
said, where it was, what happened, what it's about. I don't have that, but I felt it. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I
Mhm.
felt a presence, and that would be, I've had the sleep paralysis, which is scary in and of
Oh
itself.
my
I'm
God.
talking
Yeah.
about on the good side, or you know what I mean, on this side.
Mhm.
That would have to be the only one, and in that way. And I guess because you got to plan for the funeral. When somebody goes, you got to do the
Mhm.
funeral. You got to make sure
Yeah.
everything's this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You got to pay, and then hey, you're out of a lot of money too. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I had to go through all of those ranges of emotion.
Mhm.
I, looking back on it, think maybe I was in go mode. So to deal with it, to process it, they put it in the mind, in the
Yeah.
back end. So
Right, right.
that's just how that would be. Um,
I think
in
some
that,
of this. I think some of the stuff with dreams where people say like, I saw my loved one and they told me I'm going to get this job, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do this wonderful thing. I think a lot of it is just your mind. You know what I mean? Like you're just like, okay,
You would hope that they would say those things. So you want to believe they would say
they
it.
told me this is going to happen, so it's going to happen, and now you just kind of work towards that goal without really realizing that you're working towards that goal just because it's in the back of your mind type
Yeah.
situation. So I think a lot of that is just your mind willing you to do something, that you may not normally do, or giving you the strength to, go get that other job or whatever, you know what I mean? Like give you the courage and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very good point, because we're always looking for direction, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
We're looking for something to tell us the correct way to go.
Yep.
Having the world at your fingertips and doing whatever you want seems like a good idea,
Yeah.
in theory.
Yep.
When you're living it and you have nobody telling you what to do, where to go, it can be incredibly lonely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, if people want to call it religion, if people want to call it guided messages from the universe, their higher self, their higher vibrational energy, interdimensional. Some people are taking these guidances and these things. If it's put under a veil of your deceased ancestor, it also could mean you're more likely to listen to it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It also gives you someone to blame if it does go south. You know what I mean? Like some people.
There's a study about that where if you blame other things, it lowers stress levels.
Oh yeah,
You
for
know
sure.
what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, where people they could blame their dog for not getting a job. You know what I mean? They could blame this, they
Yeah.
could blame something
Mhm.
else, because you're getting it off of it and you feel better.
As long
Yeah.
as it's not you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that's
Yeah. Well, that's when people can run into trouble with like the mental health
100%.
stuff.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
The whole difference between guilt and shame. Guilt, I did a bad thing. Shame, I'm a bad person.
Yeah.
That's the easiest
Yeah.
way to decipher. And that's a quick mental health check, where if you start leaning more into the I'm a bad person side, like
Right.
instead
Yeah.
of, man, I fucked up, I did a bad thing, fuck, I got to
Yeah, yeah.
apologize. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
all of that. Once you start leaning into I'm a bad person, that's when stuff can get really, really bad, and
Yeah.
anybody who goes into that, seek treatment. Don't let it build up. That's the worst thing. And we
Yeah.
suck, especially as men. We suck at trying to get help with anything like
Explosive people and
Oh, for sure.
impulsive people.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's one of those situations. Don't let it implode.
exactly. But yeah, great conversation with that one. And cryptids. Look what cryptid brought out for us.
I like cryptids.
Yeah,
Who doesn't
I
love a good story, to be honest?
I know.
And
I know.
yeah, believing it's true.
I think that's part of the whole why we
I-
do what we do.
I
Because
agree.
I love a good fucking story. You guys love a good story.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, it's
Whether
been around
it's
for so long. It's not
Whether
just
it's
like
true or not,
off
you
the
got to
mark.
kind of figure it out for yourself. What how
Yeah.
much you want to believe, and
Yeah.
it gives you something to do. It gives you some, I'm going to read this. I'm going to read that. I'm going to watch this. So I think that's
Mhm.
what drives me, at least. Like that's
Oh,
what
same
keeps me
here.
going, because it gives you something to do, and I love good stories. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and you can go on great adventures going to find these things. Even if you don't do it, you have the experience of going to do something.
yeah,
That gives
it's
you
just
that.
that's the whole reason. Like, I want to do like ghost hunts and stuff. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm going to find a ghost or find anything paranormal, but it's going to get me out of my element, and it's going to
Mhm.
maybe find something cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you never know until you go, and you're going to grab something
Mhm.
from every investigation you
Yeah.
do. And even if there was nothing, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
You're going to get some kind of experience for yourself that, hey, I went into this supposed haunted place. I didn't see anything, but you know what? I went. You know what I mean? I went
Exactly.
and did it.
And that's the thing, like going out of your comfort zone, like Ian said.
I think my hardest part with that is going to be staying neutral, in the sense of
I would not be.
I don't want to find. I'm going to be looking for the answer, like
Yeah.
the obvious answers. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like everything, every
yeah.
noise I hear is not going to be a ghost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've been with plenty, and through Free Spirit when I was when it was just us, or we were doing tours of cemeteries and looking for stuff. Well, I've seen the gambit. I've seen people be like, "That's a ghost over there." You know what I mean? And I've seen
Yeah.
people that are, "You believe in this?" Like I've
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
the gambit of it. But you know
Well,
what?
have you ever seen someone say that and then they actually see something like, fuck, I was wrong? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, maybe not see something, but I've had people definitely recant, what
okay,
they've
yeah.
said to me, multiple times, and especially
that's
going
awesome.
through this stuff too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being a,
Sorry to
podcast,
interrupt,
radio
but yeah,
show. No,
I
you're
wanted
good.
to know. Yeah.
But keep whatever you believe on the forefront. Go in there, Ian, with a speculative mind and try to look for the answer, because you know what? There could be 7 things that happened on that tour, and you
Yeah.
debunked 6.
Ex-
If you didn't debunk 7,
It's
you'd
going
be
to
like,
make
"Well,
that
you know
one.
what?"
It's
Yeah.
going to make that one thing more important.
Oh, it's gonna have
No,
way
you
more
know what I
like
mean?
gravity to it.
Yes,
Mhm.
for sure.
I agree
So
with that.
yeah, like definitely, do that. Do that. Take the K2 meter, run it along the walls.
Yeah.
Run it along the walls.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a hot spot here. I'm not gonna be over here. There's okay, these walls don't have anything on them. There's no wiring behind them.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna stay over here and do it.
Yeah.
That way I
Mhm.
know I'm not getting cross contamination from over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just keep it. Walk outside. That's a good one too. When you're like, oh man, I can't use any EMF. I'm outside. There's
Oh,
nothing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Joe, here he is.
What's up, Joe?
What's up, Joe? It's good to see you.
Better late than never, Joe. Happy
Yeah.
Friday to you too. Let's don't want to keep you guys on here too long. Let's run through UFOs.
Go to another
Let's
one.
do it.
Oh, I'm down.
You picked the one thing that's going to keep us on all night.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say, at least it's Friday night. We don't work tomorrow. So
Yeah.
it's true.
story.
That's true.
You did this.
Yeah. So in our 27th consecutive hour, we're going back to you.
Exactly.
So I went through just because we can talk about the drones as well, but I went through a bunch of just factual information I'll read through about UFO reports over the 2024.
Okay.
So the NUFORC, the National UFO Reporting Center, got 929 new UFO reports. MUFON via their website said they got over 1,000 new cases.
Better on the same.
And the AARO, which is the government's version of all of this, had 757. They were a little more detailed. The office resolved 49 of those cases as identifying the object as various types of balloons, birds, drones, and it expects to resolve 243, identifying them the same way as well. Another 444 did not have enough data to keep investigating. And diving deeper into that one, that means like, oh, I saw it over there and it was gone.
Right.
What data? You know what I mean? So those that's fair. You can probably rip that out.
Mhm.
However, 21 are currently had merit and are currently being further analyzed. And these cases are interesting because they correspond with the typical shapes that the office normally receives reports on, such as the orbs, triangles, cylinders, tic tacs. Um, and these cases have been happening for extended periods of time. So 21 out of those last year aren't just one and dones. They're
Mhm.
in the shape. And when they investigated for it, they said, we got to look more into this.
My question is, how do you look more into it once the sighting's over with? You got you have whatever eyewitnesses you have, their statements and stuff like that.
Are there other ways they can keep tabs on it that they just don't tell the
I
public?
would say radar. I would
Yeah.
say further, in the local town, did anybody else see it?
Okay. Yeah,
Especially
yeah.
when we did the 50 UFO stories,
Oh, yeah.
how many of them, were we like, man, how many people saw it? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like
no, you're right.
that.
Yeah.
It just, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to downplay just one person's story, but
Exactly.
it holds a little more water to me when 30 people, 50
And
people, you know what I mean? It
and
just
like
goes
7
up.
of them were law enforcement. And they're like, what's going
Oh,
on? You know
yeah.
what I mean? It can
Yeah.
go down that route and you can more believable. So
Yeah, absolutely. and the National UFO Reporting Center put out a I guess research on the UFO drones that were happening at the end of last year, where they found all of the reports that were coming into them. All of these drones fly in coordinated groups, operate silently, being seen all over the country, not just on the East Coast. And the corresponding mass wave of orb sightings in the Northeast as well. So when they talk about, and this is a little added on part to it, when they talk about them being FAA drones, what they put out to debunk that was under federal regulation, all large drones are required by law to transmit a remote ID signal at all times. And as long as those drones are in compliance, um, a D drone or a dead drone, RF 300 can easily identify it. And no identification has happened. No identification had happened on any of the drones that were seen at the end of last year. So, Tyler, let me ask you first. You know about drones. Is there this D drone RF 300 um, is supposed to be able to easily identify with the remote ID that's
from the
on?
FAA.
Yeah, is that a real thing? Like, what is
Oh
that?
no, as soon as I turn my drone on, it instantly goes to them. You had to do an update for them because of people were taking them past the clouds. They were going up. They're going way high. Like it would hit
Don't
a
they have to
plane
be
would hit it.
registered though?
It has, if it's under 249 grams, it does not have to be registered, but you still have to follow the rules with FAA. Basically, it's still on the radar. It'll
Yeah.
ping as soon as you hit on. You can see the no-fly zone. So when you have one of those controllers in your hands, it'll show you kind of similar, like what they would see. It shows you the no-fly zone. It shows you the area where you can't go above 150 feet. It'll show
Okay.
and they're tracking it. If I took my drone up, and the thing is, what's kind of weird with the drones now, like you can control them, it will give you that warning saying you're going to be notified, as in if you take it above so many feet, and you can hit okay, whatever, and you'll just keep going. You can go higher than the clouds. You're talking about like 12,000 feet. Like you're going up as high, like, because my drone can go about 8 miles from me. So I
Mhm.
don't see that drone anymore. I just have to look on the camera. But yeah, FAA knows exactly what you're doing. So the fact, and off subject a little bit, but I was told recently that those FAA approved those drones to be up there, but yet
Yes.
there's no ID on them.
Yes, that's where I wanted to read that portion of it to
Okay.
you, because
They know where they were. Yeah.
if they are and they don't have that, aren't they violating their own law?
That's exactly what they're doing. And the thing is, they know exactly where those drones were and just not saying what they were. It's what it is. As soon as it's a radio frequency, they're seeing a ping, and that's what radar picks up. the radar picked them up no matter what. So they knew what they were doing, and it's just weird that the FAA approved it. And
here's my point with that: who the hell are the FAA to be approving things?
Yeah,
exactly. We were all gaslit with CIA, FBI,
exactly,
actual letters that mean something. You know what I mean in this country. The FAA, tell me when I'm clear to land.
Exactly.
You ain't doing your job very well, to be honest with you. But tell me when I'm clear to land and tell me when to take off. Who are they to be authorizing drones over civilians over the
and the thing is, it's not
populated
just like one
area
or two. It was like a beehive of drones. You know what I mean? There was so many.
All the reports from coming from the water. All the reports of
my problem is you have that many drones, and they're not small, 10 to 15 feet. Like, they're huge. How did not one of those in that area hit a plane, but a Black Hawk helicopter with the most advanced system that you could radio control it?
Yes.
From a controller, hit a plane, and they didn't move or even stop. Those things would hover. So why not just hover, let it pass, and then go? It was a direct hit. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, that's a conspiracy in itself on that one. But
well, I mean, this is what we're here for. This is what we do for all of our lovely.
I went off topic again, but it makes me angry knowing that our most sophisticated system of a killing machine it's the best helicopter they've ever made.
Why have it if you're not going to use it, right? Why have it if you're going to be doing?
Well, the day before they had another Black Hawk helicopter in the same route in an aircraft, another airliner had to make an emergency turn because it was gonna intercept one. Did they not learn from the night before that was going to happen, and it happened again? Same spot.
That was in the next morning meeting that they that was first the next day.
But why wouldn't they move altitudes if they know those planes are going to be at 200 feet?
I don't know why they're doing what they're doing there anyway.
Exactly.
Like, why are you in that area doing that?
I'm sorry, but if you know those planes are going to be at 200 feet going 180 miles per hour landing,
especially at night, especially being in a Black Hawk,
yeah, exactly, you can't see it. That's not the plane's fault in that. You can't see a Black Hawk helicopter. First off, those things are, they're in the night, man. They're very dark.
In the night.
They're meant for stealth, so they can turn a silent mode on where there's no sound on that thing. You know what I mean?
That would be creepy to see. Speaking of paranormal, that would be creepy to see is a helicopter. You see a helicopter and it's not making a damn sound.
Making
I know, right?
They have that on those Black Hawks. They don't make a single noise.
The rotor blades can
it's something it's one of their
cancel themselves out basically.
Yeah. So it's just it's unfortunate. And the thing is, I'm thinking at the same time, I'm sorry, we're going off on this because now we've opened Pandora's box.
This is the state of
were those pilots, the 3 pilots that were in there that are not being named, or no, they're being named. It's just the people on the aircraft, right?
The people in the helicopters are not being named.
They're not being.
I have not heard.
Not as of yet.
So they're not being named. But the thing is, were they even?
They haven't killed them yet.
Let's just say, were they even conscious when that thing was being remote controlled? No one knows.
And they say it was from like an Iranian. I don't know. I didn't really understand it. Like an Iranian owned Black Hawk or something,
or the territory it was coming from. Not territory, but just like who they deal with.
I've heard that it took off from a real sus location.
Yeah, dude. It's like it wasn't even controlled by us at that point. So, but they're not saying much. They're not gonna probably say that much because they're not.
Depending on the module and how it's going to be controlled, right?
Yeah,
it could be something as Bluetooth. It could be infrared. It could be whatever.
Yeah.
There's only so many ways to send signals to control something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you can hack one, you can hack them all.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
We're not talking, it's not something that can be locked down. No. It might even be as simple as a username and password, which is ungodly scary to say.
USA password 123.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, it could be stupid. Like it could be stupidly simple.
But the K is capital.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Exclamation point star.
But the thing is, if it can be remote controlled, I guarantee it can be taken over.
Sure,
that's true. And here's another way to think about it. And I don't know what's worse.
Yeah.
We have somebody hacked it, somebody took it over, we did it to ourselves, we needed a diversion, Trump fired all these people, we want to make them look bad. You have all of that. What if the answer is they are really just dumb? They're really just incapable and they did not know better and they cannot, I don't want to say handle their jobs, but they're not fit to be in the positions they are. Isn't that just as scary that they're being,
the controllers of the radar at the aircraft tower?
It could be anywhere in
any
that.
step along the way.
So you're incapable of doing your job. You are incompetent. That's the word.
There's more and more of these people, especially because of the diversity and equity, inclusion, hiring bullshit. You know what I mean? Like you're not bringing the best and the brightest in. You're just not. You can't.
Too. And if you know what I mean? If you guys read on the news or if you guys heard it, like I saw this on the news. So the people that were controlling it, I guess they have a visual in the tower and they have a radar in the tower. There's two different people that control what's in that airspace.
So one person's not doing both.
So what happened was, and I just saw this, one person was controlling both of those jobs. The other person said they wanted to leave early for the day and left. So one person that was covering visual was not there. The person on radar could only see so much. That person decided to leave early for the day, and that's when it happened. And that's why they were only communicating with the airliner and not the Black Hawk. It was just on the news. I just saw it was on I don't know what it was on. It was one of the news stations.
You take PTO and then that happens.
Man, that sucked. You guys have a great weekend.
I'll be right back.
Knowing that person's going to be blamed for majority right now. They left early on their job when they shouldn't have left because you can't leave one person to do all of that. That's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah. But then I agree with Joe. They've been doing it before. That's not the first time that happened.
It's
the first time they got caught.
It's a good way to put it.
It sure looked intentional, man. Like
man,
especially if you
does it look intentional just because it looks so catastrophic and that they did not know and they just hit so perfect.
Well, if you understand the operation of a Black Hawk,
it could have pulled out and moved and not have been, and it didn't. It kept going.
Well, the thing is that helicopter could have just hovered for 10 seconds.
Well, the operation of a Black Hawk requires multiple people. You have somebody watching the gauges, somebody like a live looking out the window.
And they're not even looking out of their windows. They're looking at instruments.
Yeah, most of the Black Hawks are flown by instruments. Like they don't even no line of sight, no nothing. They fly by that stuff and radar. And when they fly in formation and stuff, they fly by like rotor distance. You know, like we're 3 discs away, so there's like 3 helicopter distances apart. But these are you got somebody spotting your other helicopters, and you got the guy that's flying. You know, the pilot, and nobody saw this ginormous plane flying at them.
The weird part is that they had a radar, the Black Hawk. Of course, they're going to see everything in miles. They did not see that on there. Like, you know what? We should probably slow down a little bit. Or
yesterday.
Even if the radar went down or they had an electrical issue or something like that, you know, you still got to have the visual. Like you're flying in a commercial airspace. Like you're not out in a desert flying around by your, you know.
Yeah, I know it's the middle of the night, but you have to see the lights on the thing. You know, you tell all of these kids around, get your head out of your phone. You know, stop looking at your phone. Well, you're teaching the pilots only to look at your phone, and by phone I mean gauges. But you know that's literally it.
Not by surrounding.
I need pilots. If this gets out to anybody who's a pilot, recreationally, military, civilian, whatever, let us know, you know, some of the things behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Like it does this pass muster? You know what I mean? Is this really something that
I have a few friends that are from Embry-Riddle that I knew in Daytona Beach. That's all they do in Embry-Riddle is learn how to fly, and they become commercial airline. They get hired through commercial airliners. So I'm going to reach out to some of them and see. Because of I don't. Have you ever heard of Embry-Riddle? Embry-Riddle? No.
I haven't.
It's one of the best pilot schools you can ever go to.
Yeah.
In the country, I believe.
It's like
that's in Daytona Beach. Yeah.
One of the things that they don't talk about enough is like the needle in the haystack aspect of this. Like, how do you get the exact same altitude, the exact same? I mean, you could be 100 feet difference and you miss. You know what I mean? Now, maybe there's turbulence or something like that might cause an issue, but a direct hit at a plane doing 300 miles an hour and a helicopter doing
you have
150 miles an hour.
This isn't a road. You have infinite number of directions to go.
Yeah.
As a helicopter.
I don't know that you could aim to do that. Like, like that. It's either the worst luck on the planet, or somebody had to try.
Someone
to
was
make that
really
happen.
important on that plane. You know what I mean?
Just here's what we need to think about too. A plane has a runway. It has to go straight. And then once it's in the air, it makes its turn, its bank, wherever it has to get on target, right?
Yeah.
How does a helicopter fly? It doesn't use a runway. It has a helipad. It goes up and can go and rotate, and especially hover in any, and can go in any number of directions.
Yeah.
It hits the same spot. How does basic mathematics not come into, that? Keep everybody, when they take off in this area, on parallel lines, right?
Yeah.
You leave the Washington, D.C. area east and make your turn. Everybody goes that way. It's just nobody would get hit. Nobody, if you all went in parallel lines out one direction. How has nobody thought of that? How has nobody implemented that? I'll tell you why. It's because the degradation of the work has gotten down so low that people are like, well, why don't we just take off that way and we can save fuel by not banking all the way around to go west? Well, once you start cutting corners, maybe you'll get away with the first one. Maybe you'll get away with the first 100. But eventually something's going to catch up to you. It makes perfect sense leaving in one direction, everybody,
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
I'm putting that up. Thank you, Joe.
It's true.
But yeah, I mean, that's a good point. But at the same time, you're like Joe said, it's the low IQ people that we're bringing in some of these positions that from this DEI, diversity, equity hiring stuff. And it's been a problem. I mean, there's a lot of jobs that I know that I can't do and I shouldn't do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I want to go home early.
Yeah.
And that sounds like Ian all day.
What's up, best man? Hopefully you had a good show today as well. We're just talking about right now we're on the plane crash and how it should have never happened, and maybe some low IQ individuals had something to do with that. So good to see you there in the chat.
The fact is that no one even showed up to that post to take that person's spot at all times, because traffic runs all night on air. So, like, as in the airlines coming in, why wasn't someone like, I can't leave my post till someone covers me? I'm going to leave 2 hours early. Have fun. Like, what is that?
I think one of the bigger problems is, again, why is there a fucking Black Hawk flying around an airport? You know what I mean? Like, go do that shit somewhere else.
Going on with
go
that.
do it somewhere else.
Going on with that. There's no reason a Black Hawk should have been there.
I don't know what they could have been running. It was over the river, I guess. So maybe they're doing some sort of river or whatever it is. But it makes no sense. Like, why are you in the area?
The problem is,
how big is the river? Is it only in front of the airport?
Yeah, like
that. And it's like how much intel they have that before they're going on in a Black Hawk, they know the fly zone. They know what's coming in. They know what's going out. They already know these things, being those kind of pilots. Why would you even go there if you know they're coming in?
Well, they had a report that a lot of pilots actually do not like flying into Reagan at night because of this exact problem, because they fly these helicopters at night. And there's been other incidences where, there were close encounters, but it's like, why are you there? Maybe it's time to go do something else.
Yeah.
Like, why do you have to wait for this to happen before someone goes, oh, this isn't going to work?
Yeah. There's a lot of egos over there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of egos in DC. It's a lot of career politicians who have made their money well before Congress, who think they're going to be the next greatest and best thing. And to a certain point, that's, you want that, right? You want somebody that's going to think they changed the country. But after a certain point, it gets to be, I'm the smartest guy in the room. I know better. I'm going to be doing this, that, and the other thing. Talking about hiring, people that are just going to follow your orders instead of the best around because maybe you'd butt heads. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hiring not the best and the brightest because you have an initiative that you must hit. Let me tell you this. You had somebody leave their job without somebody covering. I guarantee you it's not the first time. Let me ask you how the best and the brightest in the FAA in Washington, D.C., in the nation's capital, in the area of the leadership of the free world, didn't get something right that bartenders and servers get right.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's a great point too. Like where it happened. It happened in Washington D.C. Like that's like
one of the strictest areas,
right? Yeah. Almost any other city in the country, it would have been a different story. But to happen in D.C. where the free world is controlled, it makes no sense, man.
No,
you would think that shit would be locked down so tight.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing as a citizen of the United States, as a real, American, as a patriot, as somebody who loves this country. It's embarrassing. And people who support, the military and things like that, they're going to have to eat this L, as the kids say. You know what I mean? Because it happened. You could not protect American civilians in the capital of America.
Exactly.
Or you didn't, or you meant to not do it.
And the other thing is like there's two airports there. There's Dulles and then there's Reagan.
That's true.
And Dulles is 30 minutes, 40 minutes outside of like the National Mall area, because that's where me and you flew into, Tyler.
Yeah.
And even if it happened there, 40 minutes outside of DC, of the main area there by the White House and stuff, the National Mall, it'd be different. But the fact that you let this shit happen 8 feet from the White House and the Capitol, like, you guys are stupid.
They could have got a can on the White House lawn from that fireball.
That's what. Yeah, exactly. Reagan is very close. It takes 5 minutes to get from Reagan to the National Mall.
I'm gonna have to send you guys the other video that someone captured of how close they were to that impact.
Because I usually fly into Reagan when I go to
next
DC.
to it. I don't know if you guys saw it. They haven't shown it anywhere. And the only one I saw posting it was CNN. And I'm telling you, this guy was so close to the impact of the helicopter and plane. It's the closest I've seen so far. It's very clear what you can see happening.
Well, because that's a very populated area too. Like the National Mall, right on the other side of the river is the National Mall.
Yeah, if you go on TikTok, just look up CNN. Just go on their page. It's the first video they have. It is the clearest photo you're gonna see, or video you're gonna see of those things hitting. It's the closest. It's like less than a quarter mile.
And I think the timing of this, of when it happened at the time of day, is even more suspicious.
Yeah,
because it isn't dark only that time. We're in the winter, guys. It's been dark. It gets dark at 6 o'clock and stays till 6. You know what I mean? It gets dark around those times, right?
When you go to DC, man, I've been up there where it's been like dark at like 5:15. It starts getting dark.
Yeah. So you have the least amount of eyes overnight, especially at that time, to capture something. Now, there's always things rolling, Ring doorbells, like cameras, the stuff that I've sent you, all of that. Yeah. And we also mentioned those aren't meant to shoot things far away. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're lucky if you get the car driving by. You can't even get the license plate on the car. You know what I mean?
Description.
Yeah. So you don't have people, with their actual, with good cell phones now, with actual good cameras on their cell phones, taking these videos.
Yeah.
It leads to be even more suspicious.
That's a good point, because like when we were there, you notice, like, especially in that area, like the National Mall area and stuff like that, they roll up the sidewalks at 5 o'clock. Like everything shuts down. You got to go to the train station.
In the middle of the street. There's nothing.
After the government shuts down at 5 o'clock, it's a ghost town. You get you get the stray, tourists walking around taking pictures at night.
All we saw half the time was people on scooters and like these like you remember they were just rolling around the Capitol and just in the middle of the street, dude. There was no cars. Like, granted, there was cars down by Grand Central Station. Like when we saw, like that's about it. That's where the heavy traffic was. When you go towards the Capitol, it's like, dude, we're the only ones out here. Like at one time, I think we only saw like 50 people, maybe 100. Like we're talking about a highly populated area, so
that people weren't around.
yeah.
And at 10 o'clock at night when it happens, there's not a lot of people out.
No one, dude. It's that lucky chance you got.
10 o'clock in New York, 10 o'clock in Philadelphia, 10 o'clock in Las Vegas, 10 o'clock in Los Angeles, Miami. People are just getting started.
Yeah.
It might as well be noon. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Yeah. My God. And in the river, so it has to be brought up. You know what I mean? If you really want to look at it, black boxes. I know they survived. I know they got them. You're never going to see what's on there.
No.
And if you do, you're going to get. You know what I mean?
Very little. Very.
Yeah, very little.
Try to FOIA that.
yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, I'll get this document was lost.
Yeah.
And if you want a little side note, but if you want a fun time, guys, look up craziest FOIA documents, and you'll see like some FOIA documents, and these people who they must know something, but like somebody FOIA'd that Obama had his own White House honey IPA beer brewed at the White House, and they FOIA'd the recipe. Nobody knew he had a beer being brewed at the White House.
Yeah,
and this guy
that's great.
And got that. There's another one of some CIA agents like retirement party.
Oh my God.
That's very funny.
So there is a fun little subreddit of that, people can look at and you don't just take people's word, but they actually have the picture of the document.
That's wild.
Pretty funny.
I sent you guys both a video for later that you can see how close this guy was to that crash. It's pretty good. It's the closest you'll see.
Yeah, I got to check that out. It's going to be fun.
And you actually watch the plane just fall and splash into the water, and you can see it all. It's pretty cool.
It's a shame. You know what I mean? It's a shame that those people had to go, and
it was
those
only
lives.
Did they say it was only in 7 feet of water too? You guys hear that? It was.
I don't think it's very deep.
But it was.
I don't think we're there. Yeah.
I think a lot of them might have been, already
trying to. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, they said. I think they said like 4 people survived or something. I think
no one did. No one did. No, that was going around that there was 4 people, but I saw it on the news.
What if the 4 people were the 4 people from the helicopter?
Yeah, no shit.
I mean,
they all found you would find parachutes hidden in the bushes.
Yeah. You would think that would be the thing to survive over a plane, considering what kind of metals they're probably using to.
I'm going to use that joke. I make ejector seats for helicopters.
Gosh. Oh,
it's really specific timing. You just you can get it right.
you got one shot, and you better be real good.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh my God. Boys,
timing.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much for
always
our first ever Paranormal State of the Union. We'll have to hold on to this and see where things are at a year from now when we do
It'll be a good comparison.
One.
Oh, yeah.
So, guys, you got anything on tap for Wednesday?
We're gonna do. I think we're doing Transylvania and some Dracula talk.
Yeah.
Oh,
we've never gotten into this, and it would be something really fun.
We're gonna dig into that a little bit and see what we can find.
Really, you guys haven't gotten into the
Not really. No, never. I don't think on podcasts.
No.
All right.
First, but we're gonna see what kind of nonsense we can find out.
Oh,
I'll be there. I'll be there commenting from the toilet. No,
that's where I would be. So
whenever I pop into yours, that's where I'm at.
I'm like, oh shit, it's like, why do my legs hurt? I can't get up.
My legs are numb.
Doing this, and somebody sends a screenshot of that on the chat, and you just look at it. You're like,
Yeah, exactly.
Not only did he comment from the toilet, he accidentally snapped a pic real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Your show's running along. My legs are going numb.
Yeah, exactly.
Wrap it up.
It's one of those.
Wrap it up. I'd be like, can you wipe it up?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
But thank you guys. It's been a pleasure. And thank you all for tuning in to Beyond the Radar, our first Paranormal State of the Union. Can't wait to come back with it. Everybody stay safe and have a good weekend, everyone.
You guys have a good one.
See ya.
See you guys.